Today's Book Club Friday video is my five favourite book characters. My five favourite book characters of all time today. Let's go. Welcome everybody to John Ski Writes. I'm your host John Ski. Today, very sunny outside. It has been raining most of the day, but it's now come out of the sunshine. Too late to cut the grass, I reckon, though. So we're going to do a book video instead. I didn't manage to get one done before today, so it couldn't go out this morning, but it's going to go out now, around about dinner time or just after, so you guys can enjoy this evening. And today's topic is, as I mentioned, my five favourite book characters. So I should jump straight in with it then. And number five, it was difficult to choose my five favourite because I could probably have literally most of the cast of Harry Potter in this. So it was tough, but I've managed to pick two characters from Harry Potter. And at five is Dobby. Dobby the house elf, who became Dobby the free elf when he died. Obviously, he died saving them all in the last book, and it was really sad. I love Dobby immensely. It's my second favourite Harry Potter character. There is one more on this list, and if you have seen the book reviews, then obviously you'll know who my favourite character is already. But Dobby for me was just great. He sacrificed his life for them. He saved them a number of times, and even when he was owned by the Malfoys and he was, meant to be theirs, he knew it was wrong. He knew he had to save Harry, and he came to warn him about the Chamber of Secrets in the second one. That's when we first meet him in the second book. So Dobby, great character, and he's at number five. Number four, it's so hard to put these in order, but I'm going to say number four, another Harry Potter character, Rubeus Hagrid. His mannerisms to the things he does, the things he says, he's so caring. He's such a parental figure to Harry, considering obviously he didn't have his parents. And I know some people love Sirius and Dumbledore and the Weasleys, but for me, Hagrid is a great example of a parental figure that Harry needed. Not necessarily one that he wanted. He would love to have been with Sirius and maybe live with the Weasleys as well. But he loves all of the people that helped him and looked after him. But I think Hagrid is the one he needed because he was always at Hogwarts with him when he was there. He told him he was a wizard. He gave him that book, the moving book thing, of his photos of his family and stuff. So I think he was always the one that was there, and he always loved Harry. Great character, big giant, but friendly giant, lovable heart. So go Rubeus Hagrid, best character in Harry Potter, and my fourth favourite book character of all time. So at number three, moving away from Harry Potter, number three is another giant, is the BFG. So one of my favourite books as a kid was the BFG. I loved having that read to me at school by the teachers when they would read to us. And then I loved reading it for the first time myself as well. It's a great book. It's a great story as well. But I just loved the BFG as a kid. And I haven't actually read that book for a while. I think I'm going to reread it actually at some point once I've got my current books. The books are on my current schedule to read soon. Once I've read them, my thumb there appeared on the screen. Once I've done the current list, I might reread that again because that was a great book. I love the BFG. So number three is the BFG, Big Friendly Giant. Welcome to the list. And number two then is James Bond. Now, most of you who are Bond fans probably love the movies. That's the same as me. I love James Bond. I love the movies. And although I've not read all of the books, I've only read two, I think. I love James Bond. And obviously, I'd seen the movies first, and then I read some of the books. But the books are fantastic. Ian Fleming, who created this whole thing, is a masterpiece. He's absolutely amazing. And James Bond is fantastic, whether it's because you like the girls that he goes after, or whether it's the cars that he drives, or the fights, the guns, whatever it is. It's so many different aspects to James Bond. He's such a good, well-rounded character. Sean Connery is definitely, the best Bond for me. And I'm not just saying that because I live in Scotland now. I love Sean Connery. He's probably my favourite Scottish person, actually. Before I moved to Scotland, before I met my wife, now she has to be the favourite Scottish person. But Sean Connery for me is just a legend. Absolutely love him. So he brought James Bond to life on screen for me better than anyone else. But this all came from the books, and I've read a couple of the books since, obviously being a massive Bond film fan. So I thought I'd try the books out. So thank you, Ian Fleming, for bringing me James Bond on paper, which then obviously became on the big screen, and absolutely love him. He is superb. So thank you very much for that. Number 2, James Bond. Honourable mention to Hermione Granger, Luna Lovegood, Neville Longbottom, basically the whole Harry Potter cast, Ron Weasley, Fred and George. Like, I loved all the characters in that. So honourable mentions to the whole entire Harry Potter cast. Honourable mentions to the characters in Room, because I think the son is so good. Obviously, that book comes from the 5-year-old son's perspective. But number 1, my favourite book character is Samwise Gamgee. Now, again, like James Bond, I haven't actually read all of the Lord of the Rings books. I have now read the first and second one. The first one is just, it took me a long while to get through the first part of it because there's a lot in the Shire. But I haven't actually read the third one. I've read part of the third one, and I've read The Hobbit, but I haven't actually read the conclusion of Return of the King, the book. But Samwise Gamgee, for me, is fantastic. He is the personification of a best friend. He is the personification of friendship, the lengths he will go to. And he's not going to these lengths to save the Shire and to save the world. He's going to these lengths to save his friends and his loved ones. He's not a hero. He is just there to make sure Frodo, who's the supposed hero, does what he's meant to do, because he's backing him, he's his best friend, and he'll do anything for him to make sure he succeeds. And that's the best bit about Samwise Gamgee. The hero in this is, obviously, you've got your Gimlis and your Legolas, you've got your warriors, you've got your Aragorns, you've got, your kings and your heroes and your fighters and that. But Frodo is the one that destroys the ring. Yeah, he does the job. He goes to Mount Doom. But Sam gets him there. Sam gets him there. He gets him through it. Even when, he sort of turns away from Sam when he wants to be with Smeagol or Gollum, Sam comes back. Sam never leaves him for too long. Samwise Gamgee is the best and my favourite book character. So glad he was brought to the big screen. Again, obviously, I read the films before I saw the films before I read the books. But books, in my opinion, are always better anyway. They give you more detail, a little bit too much Shire detail in the first one. But he's just brilliant. Love him, absolutely love him. And Sean Astin was a fantastic Samwise Gamgee, perfect choice. You couldn't recast that if you tried, in my opinion. That was just fantastic. But the book character is just he's even more incredible. So my 5 favourite characters, there they are. And I hope you enjoyed this video. There was going to be a pay it forward on it, but again, I haven't finished with the video, so it'll definitely be on next week. There'll definitely be a pay it forward on next week's video on Book Club Friday. But thanks for watching. Have a good weekend. Who are your favourite book characters? Pop them down below. I may do my 5 favourite comic book characters or favourite comic book heroes and villains next week on Book Club Friday. I'm still debating whether I'm going to do that because, as I said before, I still think comic books are books. You might not include them, but I do. So I might actually next week do my 5 favourite comic book heroes and then do a 5 favourite comic book villains. But that's all for me now. I will bid you adieu and see you next week. See you on Monday for the next installment of Monday Fun Day. Have a good weekend, guys and girls. Peace.